Hello there, this is Katrina Young, and in this vlog, I'm going to be talking about a data-driven email nurture sequence. I'm going to keep the blooper, right? So, a data-driven email nurture sequence is all about the data that you are, number one, using to set this up, and what you are going to be using while you're tracking the campaign so that it is most effective for a number of things, right? To build trust, credibility, brand recognition. And it is about setting up a series of nurture sequences, so a series of emails that are doing a number of things. Ordinarily, it is to build credibility, know, like, and trust, to drive that user and segment them towards your funnel or a conversion, an action, a prompt to watch a masterclass, a prompt to, download something, or you are going to be tracking some of the actions that person's taken, such as clicking a link. The whole point really is about collecting leads and making sure you're talking to people that are actually interested in what you're doing and interested in you. Making sure that you can solve their problems with their needs. So making sure that you're nurturing them. Now, it's not an autoresponder, and an autoresponder is all about making sure that you deliver an item that someone's opted in for or wanted to buy. This is about, the nurture sequence. Maybe you're doing newsletters or you're doing an email auto opt in for a lead magnet, and you're doing a bit of a now introduction to know, like, and trust. So you might invite the person to get to know you through a number of actions, such as watching your videos, looking at your webinars, or visiting your blog posts. I do this myself. And ultimately, you want to make sure that they take a desired action. And further on down the line, you may offer them to make a purchase. So, the first things you're going to do, and this isn't just down to me, so I always want to make sure that I give a contrarian notion and advice. And I have in this blog added a recommendation for someone else who has talked about the steps that you can do. And within this blog, I will go on to talk about a few things. So, number one, you want to make sure that you're looking at the workflow strategy. I've got a strategy for nurturing them. There's a process. It is absolutely essential that that process is taking them towards a conversion. And data driven means that, number one, you've got things like your UTM, you've got things like your analytics code embedded within the destination, or there's a tracking code. And making sure that when you're engaging with them, that you're taking into account a sales cycle, right? And then here you can see that there is a step and a process between the delivery of the subsequent emails. So day one hour, 2 hours. If they don't take an action, what should they do? And if they do take an action, what is the next step? So the nurturing is all about building relationships over time, getting to know that person and them getting to know you through various content. And this can be mapped out, so you don't have to do this. In fact, I've just taken the time to map out some nurture sequences over the next 2 years. Now, that's because I wasn't doing a great job of email newsletter marketing. And it was a loss for some of the people that couldn't afford services at a particular price point, but needed the motivation and the kind of confidence to take a step forward. And after surveying new customers who mentioned that, at that price point, given current experiences, this kind of helped them through the customer journey. And those points of my encouragement with them, or my sharing things with them, you're not always selling. So this is about promoting lead generation and increasing sales. Of course, increasing engagement. Of course, it will boost sales over time, but there's certain actions that you're taking. For me, I will set a trigger up which lets me know that that person has taken the time to take a particular action. Now, you want to make sure that the content is relevant. So you might take some time to brainstorm, people who liked or engaged on a particular social media post. You are now going to use that content and repurpose that into emails. So I do that myself. Now, data driven is about taking into consideration what you want them to do or what they've done before in terms of actions and behaviors. And I've kind of repeated this because it does take some time sometimes, because many of the times we don't put enough strategy or time into it to develop those key actions. So it's all about segmenting, and it's about making sure that we take some time into asking the person to take an action. And there is even some steps on conversion microcopy that you want to take into account. You want to track the results, it's really important. And you want to make sure that you are driving those steps or actions or call to actions to the content at a certain specific time. In touch with number one, when people are, looking at your email. So I saw a post recently where someone was, had sent a time and probably didn't take into consideration that person's time zone, and had almost reached out and vilified the person because they had sent an email at a particular time. So, number one, that nurture sequence, if they're opting into something, that welcome wants to come within the hour, or it's going to defeat the object. That person's going to reach out. You're going to get a number of people following up saying, we haven't got it. So, make sure that it's time based. And you want to make sure that it's segmented. So, number one, for me, if I'm doing a segment, I may, do a follow up. Hey, did you open it? Did you open, the delivery of this product? I know time gets busy. And then I want to make sure I measure the results. Now, this can be great for things like governance and compliance. And you want to also take into account that you can use it for future data. If those people have opted in at a certain point, you want to make sure that you've looked at things like the call to actions, the quality score on your email insights and dashboards. But it also helps you to build a personalized strategy. And you also want to analyze trends and look at research in your market. And then, of course, utilize the tools of segmentation, triggers, and automation. So, when you're creating your nurture sequence for your business, you want to be thinking about the kinds of emails you're sending, kinds of, how do you create the sequence? How do you review it? And the kind of segments, people just think, oh, it's one and done. But often they're not taking into account that customer lifetime value that they can do, and making sure that it's a real organized process. So having a spreadsheet there, getting and tracking everything that you send, making sure that this sequence is aligned with your business goals as a data driver is huge, pertinent. So you might want to take them on a journey of your business, and that could mean that you're taking them through your ascension funnel from kind of value based items all the way to the top. And sometimes I've had customers who have done that, never liked anything or engaged, but watched and opened and looked at consistency. So I hope that helps. And sometimes all it takes is someone to kind of get to the final destination and they're converted. So make sure that you're looking at data driven points and processes that you can use and utilize that key data, and it's the best way to survey your audience. So if you would like help and support with building a data driven marketing strategy, why not book a call?